Hey everybody, Karyn Bryant here. Today, kicking back with me, I've got Hyder Amil, who will be in action at UFC Vegas 94 against Jun Young Lee. So Hyder, great to see you. Hi, how are you? What do you make of this matchup? What do you think of this fight?
I think it's an exciting fight. I want the contender. He won the road to Asia. Looks like he likes to stand and bang also, and but he has a good grappling base, so I'm pretty excited about this fight. I feel like it's gonna be one for the fans. It's a shame we're not in an arena.
Yeah, it's tough. We're back at the apex for this one. You are undefeated. So how much does that play into your mind? Like how important is that to you to stay undefeated?
You know, um, I don't give myself any added pressure. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people are like, "Oh, keeping at zero." It never really mattered to me, honestly. I mean, it matters for me to always win. I put enough pressure on myself. But as a person who's going undefeated, I have a lot of confidence going in a fight.
Yeah, I would imagine it would give you a lot of confidence, but I have heard from other people who were undefeated for quite some time that after a while it's almost a burden. And sometimes when they lose, and I'm certainly not asking that about you, that you want to lose, but they were kind of saying like, okay, I got that over with now, and that doesn't have to be the thing that defines me. And like everybody's always just going to be like, Hyder, you're undefeated. Hyder, you're undefeated. And you know what I mean? And they were like, yeah, it's a burden I got rid of. But at the same time, it's pretty badass to be undefeated.
It's pretty badass. I'm looking to go 10-0, which is a great number,
Yeah.
especially because I've only had hard fights. Three Bellator, three LFA. This is going to be my third UFC fight, if you count the contender.
Yep.
So I'm pretty excited about that. It's a pretty stacked 10-0 record if I get this
Ye-
win,
Yeah, it
which I
is.
will.
It's really good, and yeah, I'm look at. If I were a fighter, I would want to be undefeated. I think that's badass. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all know. Okay, so you're part of the Scrap Pack, which I love. I don't know if people know, and I don't even know if you know, Hyder, but when I first started covering MMA, it was back in 2007, and it was the Strikeforce days. So like Gil, Nick, Nate, Jake, all those guys I have known forever, and they are like some of my like dearest memories of covering MMA are from those early days with those guys. Gil's dad with us in the elevator, like
Oh
I
wow,
like I.
senior.
Oh yeah, no,
That's
like I love
awesome.
it. I love it.
That's
So
cool.
it's an amazing legacy for you, though, right? So like, what does that feel for you to kind of be the next generation guy?
You know what? I'm a byproduct of all those guys, the Scrap Pack, even Dave Terrell, and their style. So I feel like I have a little bit of what each guy brings, especially Gil and Jake. That's who I
Yeah.
started with. I made my pro debut, my UFC debut with Gil and Jake. So it was cool to have that come full circle. And I want to make those guys proud. I feel like I'm the only one in the second generation Scrap Pack right now, but there will be more. So I'm just ready to shock the world on Saturday and just keep moving up.
And the thing about it is like everybody knows that, like you say, Scrap Pack, and like everybody just immediately there's a whole sense to it. There's a feeling to it. There's a vibe to it. So, do you think that you carry yourself though like differently than other fighters? Like, do you think that there is a mentality that's kind of unique to that group of guys?
Well, Scrap Pack, yeah, it's go hard, go home. Don't be a bee, don't be afraid, go in there and leave it all in there. So that's what we're known for, is to come, bring the fight. We don't back down. We come and fight. We got a little edge to us. So that's a Scrap Pack mentality, and it's it's um it's it's kill or be killed.
Very nice. Well, I would not want to be the guy from Fan Mio that didn't pay Nate right now. I don't want to be that guy. So when we look at your division, though, featherweight has a lot of really great fighters, and it's one of the divisions that people seem to be paying a lot more attention to these days. So, what would you like to accomplish, and who are some of the names when you look at the division? Who are some of the names that you think, yeah, maybe one day I would be a pretty good matchup with this guy?
There's a few guys that are coming up or doing well. Depending on how I end this fight, I would like to take a fight soon, depending on how much damage I take. I just want to get up there quick. I said I asked for a fight literally a day after my last fight, and now I'm fighting. But I said yes to fighting the train. What's his name? Nate Lander.
Nate
You
Landwehr,
know,
yeah.
Yeah, I said yes to fighting him, but he didn't. I said yes in a day, but I guess that was too late. But I wanted to fight Nate. I'm down to fight whoever. I feel like I got great style. I'm fun to watch. And you know what? I do want to avenge my coach's loss to Arnold Allen. So I hope to like get up there really quick, avenge his loss, and hopefully get into a title contention soon after. So I would love for that to happen that way. My my championship path, I would like to take out Arnold Allen on the way, just to avenge my coach.
Well, that's nice, and I'm glad that you actually have names in mind. You know what I mean? Because a lot of time people are just like, I don't know, whatever, and that's cool. I
Yeah.
know, I understand that, but like at the same time, to like have a clear path, I think is pretty good as well. You like you mentioned before, Bellator, LFA, Contender, all this stuff to get here. What was there something that you came across in the course of that you were like, oh, I thought it was going to be this, but it was actually that, like either something that you thought was going to be harder and it ended up being easier, or something that you thought was going to be easier that ended up being harder? Like, has there been anything along the way here? I know you're 9-0, but like, has there been anything that you were like, oh, I didn't like expect that?
A lot of the fights were pretty hard.
Yeah.
And well, with the LFA thing is I got into the UFC after my last LFA fight, but because I had a few injuries, I had to find a contender again. So that's what I was surprised about.
Yeah.
Like in this sport moves so quickly. In 6 months, you're like irrelevant if you don't
Yeah.
stay with it, And so because of that time, I had these injuries. I healed up, but it was like, okay, like 5 months, 6 months have passed. We need to have you fight and a contender again, which was a little disheartening for
Yeah.
me. But at the same time, I'm glad because they give you a contract, and I think Dana liked that fight.
Yeah, well, also, just so you know, moving forward, we on the broadcast, we just in general pay a lot of attention to contender fighters, because it
Yes.
is Dana's show. And yeah, it's like, well, Dana gave you a contract. Dana must see something that he likes. So, in general, you guys who are successful on that show continue to get promotions. So, it's a good thing for you.
Hell
It
yeah.
definitely is.
Yeah, I guess it worked on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I got to ask you too, you have a Filipino background, right?
Yes.
Okay, so another one, shout out to like my early days of covering MMA. Bless his heart, Mark Munoz. I love him so much. The Filipino
Oh
Wrecking
yeah.
Machine. He's such a great guy and used to open his gym to me. Like I did interviews there all the time, met so many people and got to know so many people there. And he was just such a wonderful, sweet guy. I remember all the time, and I said this once, and I wanted to make sure people didn't think I was being like racist or saying anything, but he would say like giving up his rice to cut weight was the hardest thing in the world. Like, you know what I mean? And like, because the food is so good. Filipino food is so good. So I'm curious for you, like, what's the hardest part for you? And is that a thing like that you recognize too, that like culturally you're like, oh, damn it, I got to give up this favorite thing of mine to make weight?
Filipino people like to eat. Yeah, that's why most of us are soft bodies, especially here in the States. Yeah, rice is hard. We eat rice with everything. Rice and
Yeah.
eggs in the morning, rice and pork.
Yeah.
So to get that all up for this, we must really love it, make a serious sacrifice. But yeah, like I have so there's this Filipino fast food restaurant called Jollibee,
I
and
know of
it's
Jollibee, of
yeah,
course.
Jollibee, yeah. So they have you tried the fried chicken?
I've not. No, I'm a
Okay.
pescatarian, so I don't eat the
Oh,
fried
okay.
chicken, but
Well,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you ever get back to eating chicken again, you eat that Jollibee chicken, I guarantee you won't go back.
Okay.
And so that is my. I don't eat it. I don't really eat it very much. I just
Yeah.
save it for my post fight once I get back into SF.
Yeah.
That's my meal to my victory meal.
Nice. I love it. I love it. And actually, I was just up in San Francisco last week. My daughter and I went up there. I went to go see a show at the Fillmore. And
Oh,
so,
nice.
yeah, so I hadn't been up to the city in a while, and it is still beautiful. I know people, kind of crap on it and stuff, but the city
It's
itself
getting
is really
better.
cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So for you, yeah, again, as you look at this matchup, you expect this one will probably play out mostly on the feet. Is that what you're thinking? But if you want to, you obviously have the option to take it to the canvas.
Yeah, I think I could take him down and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I feel like a lot of people underestimate my wrestling and grappling,
Hmm.
especially when I train with them. They're surprised I believe I have the takedown defense record for the Contender. I have
Okay.
18 like takedown defenses because the
Okay.
guy I went against was like, I think he was in the World Greco team.
Oh,
So
okay.
I went against a really good wrestler for the Contender. So I feel like that part, I I had to prove to myself I could deal with a good wrestler. And now that I did that, I got his superpowers. So a lot of stuff that
Yes.
that fight has done for me is give me some like wrestling skills
Hmm.
and kind of like stuff in the moment. So I'm going to use some of that in the fight if I have to, and I feel like it can neutralize the grappling, and me and him
Hmm.
can have a stand up battle. That's what I'm thinking. But again, when there's two grapplers fighting each other, a lot of times they strike. When it's two strikers fighting each other, a lot of times they
Right.
grapple. So I'm ready for whatever.
Nice. Well, all I know is, and I love it. I know people. It's frustrating. Apex shows can be frustrating to some people, and I get it. But for me, I get spoiled because then I get to just sit there and watch you guys so close. And that octagon being smaller,
Hmm.
it forces the fight a lot of time. And so I feel like
Hmm.
with two explosive guys like you, we should really be in for a treat.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's my third Apex fight, so it's super comfortable.
Uh huh.
I believe we're the main event for the prelims, and
Yeah.
I'm just using this fight as my ticket out to Apex. I want to put on a show where Dana's like, man, I got to have this guy in the arena. It's way too exciting, way too fun to watch.
Nice. Well, amen to that. I'm looking forward to seeing you fight. And yeah, featured prelim here at UFC Vegas 94. So thank you so much for taking the time to kick back with me, Hyder. And I'm looking forward to you throwing down. We'll see if you get to 10-0. But yeah, really, already you just have been doing great work. And it's just fun and it's exciting to see where you're going for the next generation of the Scrap Pack. So best of luck to you. And yeah, thanks for hanging out today.
You're the best, Karen. Thanks for having me.
Cool. I'll see you soon.
I see you soon.